like, get that money that we're sending to Iraq for that $1 trillion and give it to the non-civil society, which I think is extremely vibrant and in a way a good thing, because they don't have a strong civil society in Europe and all those other places where they have strong federal funding of health and everything, because that's taken care of.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's kind of
So you trust
interesting.
the people more than the structures, more than the managers.
Well, I trust that people will fulfill the need. That's just the nature of people. It's just a matter of whether or not it's, how
Maybe
well
it's
our,
self-government. There
yes.
needs to be a certain amount of trust that we all have.
Yeah, and
I don't think
where
there's any
money's
way to get.
going-
I don't think there's any way to get around that. You know.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that's not the only thing. But
Yes, and also, like, yes, and, like, I think, I just have had this kind of feeling in me since we were talking about corruption, and she was saying, if you plan the system right, there's no space for corruption, I think is what she's hearing, and I think that corruption will exist whether you're just playing Monopoly with a group of 5 people, or, you know, you have, I think that you'll always have people, and as we say, self-government and trust and stuff, I believe that at its core, as long as we make space for the fact that there will always be some form of corruption, no matter
as
what.
long as we are, right? But the question is, how do you? The biggest, the most. I can't think of I'm missing the word. But the most important part of self-government is holding power accountable. So that means even if there is corruption, at some point that corruption is held accountable. And there will always be, I don't disagree with you, as long as we are what we are, and we are. There will be, you know, because we're not angels, you know, so there will always be those problems. But the question is how do you create a system, how do you create a system that, you know, that can account that? You know, and that can hold that accountable, and so that it doesn't kind of continue. You know what I'm saying? Though,
We need a trustworthy dictator, I think.
Volunteer?
No, that's.
Oh, of course. I know, it's not-
That'd be right.
People vote for me, and I'll just take over.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's the, you know, I think that's a real, you know, that if you go back and look at what the whole founding was, even if you want to say, you know, it was not the most democratic of small d democratic of things, which it wasn't, but it certainly had certain strengths of that. But it was people with power who didn't trust each other trying to say, okay, how do we hold each other accountable? And that's the real key. And it's not like, you know, that's like, you know, you don't make a government of angels, which one of them said, you know, you have government because we're people, but the question is how do we hold each other accountable? And then also, like, what are our responsibilities? And if we're going to hold each other accountable, we have to each have responsibilities for that, you know? And you know, and what you have to create is a process that works despite its faults, you know, because all systems have faults. There's just no getting around that. But now, I think in what we said here tonight, and you know, I think we're past. I think this is out.
Wait, that one, you got something.
Yeah, no, I don't want to stop. I'm just saying, like, we can continue talking, but I think the tape is done soon, and I told you guys an hour, so I don't want to. But I'm happy to continue talking. But you know, how do you create that process again? And I think what everybody kind of said here tonight was one thing is that they don't think it's working. You know, and so if it's not working, what are we going to do? You know,
Considering that 40% of your income is going to something that's not working.
right.
I mean, I think it really comes down to the brass tacks of that. It's like, look, right? It does not work. Well, besides the fact that it's destroying the world, but other than that.
Take a cheerleader, save the world.
Nah.
Heroes.
Yeah, so where do we go from here?
What do we do now?
Yeah.
This is it.